Hey, this is Steve. This is our bike shop, Macklin Bike Shop, and here's another bikes we ride or also bikes we build, I guess. So some cool, fun stuff that we like to do. So we like playing with bikes. We like messing around with them, trying new things, all that type of stuff. So there's a video out there that Lynn and I put together that was her gravel bike, kind of like a monster cross that was built on a Niner RKT and drop bars on it. Electronic shifting, and with the SRAM stuff, it's super easy to connect your drop bar controllers to mountain bike derailleur. So it's all cross compatible, and it works together wirelessly. So pretty cool stuff. So we had this Rocket RKT. So this is a Niner RKT 9 RDO. This is the previous generation. There's since been a new frame. So this is the previous gen that's a little shorter, a little steeper versus the new one. And we thought this might be a pretty good candidate to put the drop bars on this as well. So I had been riding a ZFS this year, and we kept this bike to keep riding because we really like the bike, like the color scheme on it and whatnot, and we thought there were some fun things we could do with it. So and kind of the boys will kind of ride it and race it occasionally too. So, but anyway, super easy. So these kind of previous gen bikes where the brake line is on the outside of the frame, it's super easy to swap over. So these are actually the drop bars and the controllers that were on that Air 9, and we were able to just move it over, brake lines, everything intact, and then just bolt it up to this frame. So once we had these controllers and brake levers connected to the brakes, we just kind of keep them together instead of reconnecting brake lines every time. So but anyway, and to kind of show that, like, this is the flat bars from it. So literally it doesn't take much now. We've got flat bars with the calipers, and this setup, we can undo this at the steer tube, the stem, undo the brakes, bolt it, undo it, put these bars on, put the calipers on, line them up, good to go. Had the mountain bike controller on it, the access controller, and hit the button, connect them, good to go. Check the shifting limits, that kind of thing. It's always good to do often, but yeah, literally it doesn't take very long, like 20 minutes to swap this back and forth now. So very cool. So if you follow Niner, you know that they actually do have a full suspension gravel bike. It's the MCR Magic Carpet Ride, and it's a really nice bike. So anyway, this is kind of a bit monster cross style of it. So this bike, I'll kind of go through the build on it, and then maybe I can weigh it too. I forget exactly what it was, but I think the bike in mountain bike format was like 25.5 pounds or just under 26 or something with this configuration. So, but anyway, so this RKT was one of Niner's 3-star builds. So it was originally a mechanical shifting GX bike with some stands, wheels, maybe the DT Swiss 1900s. I can't remember how they were coming in then. But anyway, so, and everyone knows that like upgrade kits and stuff were very cheap for like the electronic shifting and whatnot the past couple of years. So if you're able to get your hands on one of those, you can do some pretty versatile plug and play stuff. So kind of handy to have. So this bike has a GX cassette on it. And then for those, this is kind of a side note. If you have played back and forth between like trying to get your shifting crisp, the difference between the GX cassette and running like an XO or XX1 cassette, the shifting's better with the XO and the XX1 cassette, especially when you use the nicer chain. The nicer chains last longer too, so we get a lot more life out of them. But anyway, but this does have the GX cassette on it. It's the XX1 Eagle derailleur, and it does have a different crank in it now. So this is actually a force wide road crank, but it fits. So kind of put it in there because I had a power meter for it and I wanted to run power on it, and we were playing around with different chainring sizes. So we've actually had a 40 tooth chainring on this. Had to use some chainring washers and shim it a bit, but made it work. And actually the chain line was off a little bit, but it worked just totally fine. No issues. So right now there's a 36 on it. And again, kind of playing around with it. If you were to go single tracking it in kind of more rowdy stuff, the 36 works out better. The 40 tooth for actual just general gravel riding. So it's got a Fox 32 on it. And but anyway, the crank to make that fit and kind of work out in there, you basically the SRAM dub bottom brackets have all these different little spacers for them. So basically we just kind of swapped the drive side spacer, and it didn't actually take much to fit the wide crank in there. So, and it's pre-centered up. So I forget which spacer is on this side, but it might be like a 2.5. But anyway, it's aluminum Easton bars. And as far as, and then the wheels, these are wheels that they're a set of reserve, the 28XCs that are on some DT 350 hubs. They came off of the ZFS that I was riding and moved them over here. Again, move stuff around a lot. It's got the carbon Niner post on it, Prologo NDR seat. We're always kind of moving around, playing around with seats, but we have taken a liking to these Prologo seats. And then as far as the fit goes, so this is a medium frame, and I rode this with flat bars last year. And my fit, I'm kind of lanky in the legs and arms, shorter in the torso. So like I tend to get a pretty high seat, and then if I'm aggressively fit, then sometimes a shorter bike actually kind of works out. But the larges tend to be a little too long. I'm kind of between the fits. I can kind of make either one of them work. So being that this was a medium, I think I ran it with like a 80 mil stem with flat bars. And one time I might have done like 70 mil with a small riser bar. And that was with like a 120 forks. We have a 120 ridden on this too. And then, so with this setup, with the drop bars, these are kind of a short reach bar. There's a 70 millimeter stem on it right now, but it's frankly a little long. So I think it works out for, it's not too bad. So it works out for like slamming the seat forward, dropping the bars, and getting really aggressive if you're doing like kind of pure gravel riding. But it's a little too long in slammed for single tracking with it. So I think probably going to go back to the 60 millimeter stem on it, and then get the seat back just a little bit more. And I think it'll actually, that's the 60 mil is probably the best all around kind of length, at least on this bike. So, but anyway, and then it kind of works out because this is a bit, I forget the head tube angle, but this is a steeper bike than the stuff we're riding today as well. So it kind of all works out. So the weird thing is like literally ridden this exact bike, very bike with flat bars, these tires, everything, right? And as a mountain bike, you're like, it's a pretty snappy bike. Pretty responsive and quick and agile. And then you put the drop bars on it, and all of a sudden your brain goes to, this is a gravel bike. And so then it feels like sluggish accelerating. But once you're rolling, it is awesome. You come off of pavement and hit like the washboard gravel or chattery stuff, and you don't feel it. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's really, really awesome riding on gravel. So, but anyway, thought I would share it. Very cool. And you know what? Before I shut it down, I'll weigh it really quick and see what it weighs. Got park scale right here. Let's see. I'm gonna hook it on the seat here. So with the pedals on it, right here, it is sitting at 26 pounds and 6 ounces or so. So just shy of 26 and a half. So, and I suppose, yeah, maybe these controllers weigh, I'm not sure. But maybe it wasn't 26 and a half. Maybe it was some different tires on there, or under 26. But anyway, yeah, cool stuff. Oh, you know what? We had, I think previously when I've weighted under 26, we might have had a different cassette on there too, and maybe something else. So, anyway, cool stuff. Thanks for tuning in. If you're interested in us putting something together like this for you, let us know. Or if you have any questions about it, stop by, check it out.